Um, just to start out, how many of you are in the enterprise side of the world? Okay, great. Great. There's a few of you. That's good. My name is Ramiro Banderas. I'm the director of the Rollins Global Learning Network. And it's a new network for us because we started about 6 years ago with a satellite-based network. But I'm going to tell you a little bit about, hopefully in the next 10 minutes, I'm just going to tell you a little bit about what Rollins is about and maybe give you a sense of why we changed our network to where we are now. And then I'm actually going to do a demo. And of course, you know how live demos go. I'm hoping that this is not like we're working with children and dogs, but I've got one of my producers is back in Atlanta, and she's going to do a little demo just to show you what the system is capable of. So I mentioned to you that I'm with Rollins. Our company was primarily based in North America with locations throughout the U.S. and Canada. And we are the premier service company primarily doing commercial and residential pest control. Orkin is the biggest part of Rollins. And I also mentioned to you that we had a satellite network up until July 31st. In fact, on July 31st, we killed that network and switched over to the new terrestrial solution. Now, why did we do that? You know, we were pretty comfortable with the satellite. It covered North America, and things were going very well. But a couple of things happened to us, which were good. One of them was that we started to grow. I mentioned to you that Orkin was our flagship and still is, but we've acquired a number of other companies. And we are now a conglomerate of brands, and we had to support those brands. And satellite was becoming an expensive solution for us. So, of course, a couple of years ago, I started thinking I need to bring it down to a terrestrial network. Another interesting thing that happened to us is that we started to grow international. We are now in China and South Korea, in Africa, in South America, Chile, and in Europe. So again, satellite was just not feasible for us. So we definitely decided to go with a terrestrial solution. But why? You know, again, the reason we did everything that we've done so far is to make sure that we empower our people to do what they need to do. And my session was called Delivering Training or Enterprise Communications Anywhere, at any time, on any device. And that really was our goal from the very beginning. We wanted to make sure that our employees, wherever they were, and as you can see, we give them tablets, but these tablets, they don't even do 3G or Wi-Fi, you know, so, okay. But we are moving to a more mobile type employee, first of all, and we're giving them handheld devices that can download video, for example, and at any place, at any time, they can look at if they're in a particular tough situation, they can look at an example of a video right in their handheld device and figure out what to do. So that was really the goal of the network. So we were sitting around thinking, how do we get all of our employees, 10,000 of them, which are now scattered mostly through North America, but a lot of them are around the world, how do we get to them with our training and our communication? Obviously, we had to come up with a solution that allowed us to do pretty interesting stuff. And this is what our network looks like today. We at the head end, and one thing that I want to emphasize, that our network is really a platform that we can build on. It's not just streaming content, for example. When we started the process, we said, okay, we want to be able to add a digital asset management solution, for example. We're talking to a couple of the partners here for subtitling. We want to be an integrated solution that has all of these components, but based on one platform. Partly because I'm a very small shop, really. I only have about 4 people permanent working for me, and then a couple of freelancers. So I cannot afford to have somebody managing the digital asset management piece, or somebody managing the network piece, somebody managing the video side. We all wear the same different hats, and it has to be an easy platform for us. So that's really where we got to. The interesting thing about our head end, for example, all our encoding, transcoding, everything happens at our head end. But we've created basically 2 networks. They're identical in the sense that they both push out the same content. And in fact, if you log on to our network using a computer, whether you are inside of the Rollins MPLS multicast network, or you're on one of our content distribution network providers, you will get the exact same experience if you log in through a computer. And that's what I'm going to demo in a second. But the sexy part of our network, it really is located at our company-owned locations. And one thing that we do that it's again a little different. We broadcast to televisions and not so much the computer. So the experience for, let's see, did I go past my, here we go. The experience at the branch location is one that the student is using a tablet, an Android tablet, to log on, and then they're watching it on a television screen, and everybody's logged on with a tablet. You can also log on multiple people on the tablet. But that tablet becomes the interactive piece for that student, so they can use it to chat, they can use it to talk directly to the instructor. They can use it to answer questions. And since it is a tablet, it's a kind of a computer, we're not limited to a hardware piece like we used to be before. And in our roadmap is the ability to use the camera that comes with a tablet as a 2-way video. We're going to get there. Now, I failed to mention that we only have 768K for our broadcast network. So the reality is we're pushing 600K video, and then the overhead audio and overhead makes up for the 768. And thanks to a lot of the encoding advancements that have happened over the last year or so, we're able to push some pretty good looking content over a TV. And I think you're going to see a little bit of this. And now I'm excited about NVIDIA. We use NVIDIA encoders. I'm really excited about that new product that they're showing out here, where they're telling me that I can double my signal, but use the same half amount of pipe. So that to me is huge. As you can imagine, on 768, it's... So that's really what our network looks like. And again, the appliance that we have located at each one of our sites can be used as we deposit all the content there, all the video on demand is there, and different employees can access it using a desktop, for example. They're using mobile devices. But again, our primary way to communicate with our employees is through the television. On the CDN side, which is really, we created it for our franchisees around the world, they can access it through a desktop computer or mobile devices. So what I want to do now is I just want to actually go into, there's an admin view, of course, and there's a user view. And I'm going to go in as a user because we really don't have the time to go into the admin side of the deal, but all the analytics and all the ability to create events or create groups so I can broadcast to separate groups, all of that is part of the admin side. But I'm just going to go in. I created one of my producers, which I'll tell you, she hates to be in front of the camera. And it's a good thing that I'm here in LA and she's in Atlanta, because she would probably be hitting me by now for doing this. But hopefully, again, I've got the internet as juiced up as I can here. When you log in through the TV with a tablet, you simply get a message on the tablet whether you want to watch content on demand or you want to go live. And if you want to go live, if you registered for a program, the program will show up on the tablet and you just simply click on that program and the TV automatically switches to that event. So very simple. We kept it very, very, very user-friendly. Again, a lot of our folks are not necessarily computer savvy. So we wanted something that was very, very simple. You see that when you come in, I can look at down below. I've got all the video on demand, and we have a pretty solid structure of video on demand. So I won't go through that, but it's just basically that's where all the video content is there, and a lot of it is interactive. By the way, it's not just sitting there watching a video, but it's actually interacting with the tablet. So when you're watching it using the tablet, if the video stops and asks you a question, you have to answer it in order for the video to continue. So there's a lot of interactivity. It looks like we're in, which is a beautiful thing. And I'm going to let me see if I can get her. She said she was going to play some Halloween music, so. Let's see how she does. Okay, here we go. And what I'm going to do.
Welcome to Rollins Global Learning Network. My name is Stormy White, and I'm a studio producer here in Atlanta, Georgia. Good morning, Romero. How's sunny California treating you?
She's wanting me to respond, so let me see. But you can see that you can
Great.
go full screen.
I'm here to show you a little bit about our studio and our control room and here at Rollins. I also wanted to tell you a little bit about Tempo and how excited we are with our new platform. Right? It actually is open communications between us and our students, and we feel more connected than we did before with satellite. So I want to show you our first part of our presentation, and here is our studio. Here we have our facilitator, Shane Hill, and this is actually the back view of the studio looking out, and he has two monitors there that he uses to kind of see what the student's view is like, as well as he has on the blue console there in front of him, he has actually where the Tempo platform sits, and on the right-hand side on the monitor, it actually is the interactivity, where he has the chat function, as well as they can call in, they can ask a question. And then on the left monitor, he has two quadrants. The upper quadrant shows the instructor and the slides, and the bottom quadrant shows the PowerPoint presentation. Here is Shane facilitating again, as well as he has a guest with him. and we can have actually up to 3 guests and 1 facilitator. Also, this is actually a different view of the console where you can see, a little bit of the presentation in front of him. This is actually showing that we have other types of broadcasts besides training. We have our vendors, we have our customers, and we have town hall meetings. This is a broadcast that had John Wilson, the president of Orkin, and he was communicating with the field. Also, behind the curtain is the green screen, where we can do tapings and things like that. Also, I wanted to share our excitement of we're actually building out a new set currently. So we're looking for a new facelift, and we look forward to having that hopefully in the near future. On to the control room. Here's our control room. We have a bank of monitors on the left-hand side. We have a window where we can see inside the studio. We have our audio board. We have several robotic cameras. And you can see right here on the console, there's actually a laptop computer that is broadcasting the live event. Here's another view where you can see actually the laptop again, as well as the tablet that the students use. These are actually in all the branches out in the field, and the students can use this to communicate with the instructor via chat, ask questions, or call in. And this is another view of our studio that actually has our graphics server right here on the left-hand side, and that's where we display our lower thirds, any type of special graphics that we need. Our tape deck is here on the left-hand side, and we can tape the broadcast either to tape, DVD, or digitally. And that's really a little bit about our studio and our control room here at Rollins. I wanted to see if anybody had any questions that I could possibly answer.
Let me see. I love it when a live presentation
Okay,
goes
we have
well.
a question. How often do we broadcast? We normally broadcast a minimum of 4 hours a day, sometimes up to 8 hours a day. So we have a pretty busy schedule around here. Is there any other questions that I could answer?
But you see that we use the system, 6 to 8 hours a day we're broadcasting live from our facility. So we needed a solution that was...
Okay, I see we have another question. How many students? On a typical class, we have up to 60 plus students. I also see that Alan Langford is logged in. It looks like he's using an iPad. Hello, Alan.
Is it letting you in?
Is there any other questions that I could answer?
Come on, I got to make her feel good. Hopefully I will tell you that part of the...
I was going to ask what devices are recording?
Yes, Alan, he is a good boss. Anyway, I wanted to wish everybody a great day and a happy Halloween.
We support... you can kill the audio if you will. Any laptop with browsers, IE8, Chrome, Firefox, Safari. Then we also support iPads, iPhones, and Android devices. So any of them. And I know, Alan, you were. Did you have any luck seeing the broadcast? Okay. Yeah. So Alan, I asked Alan Lamford. He's with JCPenney, but I allowed him to peek in there, and he was logged on with an iPad. So, and you notice that Stormy recognized that he was logged on. So, it's a very reliable system. As you might imagine, it has to be. We're broadcasting every day. We do a lot of interactivity. I wanted to also mention that really when you log in from a computer, the best way to do audio, to talk to the instructor, is to have a headset in a microphone. So that's why I didn't want to do the audio here, because I was afraid that it really wasn't going to work. But the students have the capability to talk to the instructor directly. What we found, interestingly enough, is that they are chatting. They chat up a storm, but they don't, when we ask them to call, they usually don't call. So that's really what I wanted to show you, and I wanted to leave a few minutes for questions. So any questions out there?
And how did you come up with 768 as default bandwidth? Is that just what you have available, or is that...
Very good question, and you're leading me into something that I wanted to mention about IT as well. We have T1 lines connected to all of our sites in North America. And when we were negotiating the territory with IT, we were able to get just half of that T1. So they told us, as long as we'll give you 768K, but if you go over 1K, we'll shut you down. So that's how we came up with the 768. Besides that, we did a lot of tests, and I say we, our partners did a lot of the testing. Globecom is our partner. They tested an awful lot of different encoders to see who would give us the best quality picture at the lowest bandwidth, because we knew we had to be at 600K is really our goal. But then we also had to worry about latency, because when you're doing live interactive training, if you've got more than 2 seconds, the student is kind of lost, right? And that's really what we've got. We've got a latency of 2 seconds. And Alan, I'm in to ask you, how close was the iPad to what you were seeing on the screen here?
It was a little behind, but I think that's probably the 3G network that we were working
Okay. Yeah, we recognize that, for example, iPads, and again, depends on that last mile that we cannot control. If you have a really good internet connection, you're going to have a fabulous experience.
If you broadcast 6 hours a day, how much of that is scripted? And if it's not scripted, how do you avoid the and shaggy dog stories and drifting off topic and I lost my computer and where's my file? How do you avoid all those attention stealing deadband?
Yeah. Boy, I would have loved to. I really wanted to do a demo of a live session, so you would have seen one of our instructors. They are very good. We have about 6 instructors. They follow a script. Basically, they follow a book that has the slides, basically, and a little notes. But for the most part, they have PhDs in entomology, for example, so they know their subject very well. And they do a fabulous job. I wish I could have shown you that, because they do not.
But I just can't imagine you queuing up, moving people in for 6 hours a day, show after show, in one studio, and not have chaos.
Come by Atlanta. If you're in Atlanta, come by and see us. First of all, we have 5 different tracks of classes that are going on at the same time. And likely as a student, you will only be sitting in front of the TV for an hour, maybe 2 a day. The other hours are filled by the other tracks, and that means different instructors. We usually start the broadcast at the top of the hour and end it about 50 minutes or 10 minutes before the next hour. Give everybody a 10-minute break to readjust, get their slides together, whatever. And then we start again at the top of the hour and do another 50 minutes. We have it, I agree with you. We do a pretty good job. I'd love to show you.
So, you mentioned before that you are sending slides for the instructor. So, on the demo you showed, it was essentially a people track, a mix of what's going on inside the studio. How are those slides being distributed to your remote audience? Is there the instructor choosing what to send to the students at a particular time? Is there a separate track on your secondary screen that's just on the slide content, as well as your chat integration?
We use both the appliance that is located at each one of our branches and also the CDN providers. We use them as the cache content. We send all the slides, videos, for example. Whenever we show, and we show a lot of videos throughout our programming, all that content sits either at that appliance, at the, the content sits here. The slides also sit there. So really, we're not using bandwidth to send video or slides. We're simply sending a very tiny signal that says to that appliance, play video XYZ, or show slide XYZ.
So this is in the dual stream architecture. It's one stream where you're then calling it.
The live instructor is really the only stream that's going over the pipe. Yep. Very efficient that way. Mm-hmm.
So there is one presenter and one classroom. I'm just imagining if students are distributed all over the place, then you are using 760, 8K bandwidth multiplied by a number.
It's a multicast. We really, in fact, we had an MPLS cloud for our network, but it was unicast. And the company that was running that network could not convert it to a multicast. So in the process of changing to our new network, we also changed our IT infrastructure to create an MPLS multicast network from the ground up. That's how we get away with the bandwidth using the 768, but it's multicast, so it gets to everybody.
But during this demo, when I'm seeing here and he's seeing over there, is it getting multicast or those are
No, that's unicast. And he was using the wireless that it's available to everybody. I was using a hardwire. So we were using two different networks in essence. Mm-hmm.
In using any kind of a CDN, how are you getting 2 seconds latency? I mean, how have you cut it down to 2 seconds?
That's the magic of our partners. I think our latency is a little bit more than 2 seconds on the CDN, but I can guarantee you there's not more than about 3 seconds. So the CDN is a challenge because we have that last mile that it's a challenge as well. But I tell you, I have to go give kudos to my partner Globecom for doing the research that they've done to get it to that point.
So you touched on echo cancellation before with the students wearing a headset and a microphone separate. How do you handle those rule breakers? So say you have 60 to 600 students connecting remotely. How do you control that environment so that somebody's not breaking the rule and causing a feedback?
We have a software solution that, in fact, Globecom can probably tell you better than I can. And Stormy might be able to tell you better than I can. But it is remember, this is kind of a controlled classroom, and I think they're telling me that I need to shut up. But this is a controlled classroom, so we allow the chatting to go on. But when students call, we try to limit that to 1 or 2 students at a time. And so it's a lot easier to manage that, even though there may be 60 or 70 people listening. Very good questions. Again, I thank you for your time. I hope this was what you expected, and I appreciate you being here. Thank you very much.